Welcome to our Teens Talk Show, an 8-episode series. My name is Gloria.
And my name is Mary.
And we are so happy to have this opportunity to talk about topics that we are passionate about. We hope you catch our first episode, 12 going on 20, where we discuss if children are growing up too fast and looking at the potential advantages and disadvantages.
Today, we'll be kicking off with our second topic, racism in schools. We've got a panelist here, Zara, Victoria, Rachel, and Shulamite. Gloria, do you want to give us some context about the discussion today?
Yes, of course. So, a recent study in England stated that 95% of young Black people reported they have heard and witnessed the use of racist language in schools, with 70% of Black children saying that they felt that they needed to change their hair to be more professional at school, as well as 50% of young Black people saying that their biggest barrier was teacher perceptions of them, for example, them being perceived as aggressive. So, with that context in mind, Mary, would you like to start us off with our first discussion point for today?
Yes, of course. Our first question is, have you ever experienced racism in school? And if so, how was it addressed in school? Victoria, would you like to start us off?
Sure. So this is like in primary school, and like it was just like I was the only Black person in the class. So there were these boys, these four boys that would always like make fun of me, bullying me and stuff. And like they went to the extent of saying like, "Oh, my skin's made of poo," like telling me to search up on the internet and stuff. And like obviously, because I was in like 5, 6, I was like upset about it. Now I look back and laugh because it's silly. But like back then, I was in like 5, and I would cry about it and stuff. So I went to the teacher, and like she literally didn't do anything. She was like, "Oh, boys, don't do that," and like it didn't make any difference. And so I was still in that class every day, and I was just like really sad. But yeah.
Sorry that you had that experience.
It's fine now, but you know.
Anybody else, any experiences of racism in school?
Yeah, I've had an experience at school where one girl called me the N-word. And at first, like I was kind of hesitant about telling the teachers because, the school I go to is basically like majority of people there are white. So I felt like if I had went as a Black girl, like the teachers really wouldn't have said anything or like, done anything. And the teacher didn't do anything. But even though I told her, and the girl that said it, it just gave her like more power in a way to like, I don't know, whenever you like get called a racial slur, and you feel like there's nothing you can do about it, it gives that person like a whole lot more power because you think like I don't know, they just have something over you that you can't really escape. And especially since it wasn't dealt with as well.
Yeah.
So I just kind of felt like, really, I don't know, I just felt really out of place. Yeah, like I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes like I can't lie to you, even when I was in first year, I was like, why am I this way? Like why can't I know this sounds wrong, but I was kind of being like, why can't I be white? Because they seem like they have a better life.
Yeah.
But now looking back at it.
Yeah. I can't see I've had that experience as well where I felt like I wanted to be white because
just seems more fun.
Yeah, it doesn't seem. I wouldn't say it seems, but they made it seem like it's more fun. That's I totally understand.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting take on that. What about you, Rachel?
Yeah, I've had an experience too where it was secondary school and I was in second year, I'm pretty sure. And I was in the library and we're like drawing something, I don't know. But this girl drew a picture and it was like Black. And she showed me and she was like, "This is what you look like." And then I started crying and I told my teacher. And then I went to my next class and I couldn't stop crying. I just kept crying. And the classroom assistant pulled me outside and asked me what happened. And then I told her and she was like, I'm going to go tell the year head. And I was like, okay. And the year head then called me and the girl got long-term detention.
Okay, so I guess that was kind
of
yeah. Did the people have to apologize to you about it?
Yeah, but she didn't.
So it wasn't that.
Sorry?
So it wasn't. I personally, I don't think that was dealt enough.
Yeah.
Because in my school, you can be doing the most smallest thing and you'll get suspended. But when it comes to someone calling you the N-word, they just get told to apologize to you, and it's not sorted out properly, in my opinion.
Have you ever felt like you've had to be extra careful in the way that you behave because of the color of your skin? For example, extra polite or extra respectful?
What about you, Zara?
sometimes I feel like I have to act a certain way around teachers in class. Like, I don't feel like I can be myself all the time, or else I feel like I'll be judged or looked at differently. Do you know what I mean? Like, I see the way I act with my friends. I can't act like that around teachers because I feel like they'll say something, or they'll point it out, or they'll embarrass me in class or something like that.
Yeah, me personally, I think I do have to be mindful of the way I act, just because of the color of your skin. Because apparently, we seem to like act like, I don't know how to put it, like just loud and like ratchet. Yeah,
Yeah.
like they have like not the best, thoughts of us. So I feel like we have to like act more respectful and think about the way we act before we, act.
Act out, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is that the stereotypes of black people, they're quite negative.
Yes.
So I guess that would kind of affect the way that you react and you respond, the way you talk to people, because you don't want to fit into that category. Yeah. What about you guys? Do you feel like you've ever had to kind of act a certain way, maybe in school, or maybe even just when you're out in town or out with your friends?
Yeah, definitely, because I'm like a really, really outgoing person. And like in school when you see like those kids and you want to be friends with like a certain someone, but they may not like the way you act. Like they won't obviously like you to act yourself. So you'll have to put on a different personality for them. So I've done that before. I can't lie to you, and I was acting like more chill, but I just wasn't feeling myself. But then whenever I was with friends who actually knew me, I was myself. And that can like that's in my opinion, that's just really, really bad because it's better to be yourself than to have a fake personality for someone just to like you.
Yes.
Because it can end up in very, very harmful ways, like your self-esteem. And it's just like how you portray yourself. Like if someone doesn't like it, that's their problem because it's the way you are and you can't change that for anybody else.
I think it is very important to be secure in who you are as a person and make sure that the opinions of other people don't affect you. And as much as we're saying that we do kind of feel sometimes that we have to act a certain way, I think it's important to understand who you are as a person and not let that affect you. If someone doesn't like you, as you said, quite frankly, that's their problem. But if you know who you are and you know the values and laws that you have, I think that's the most important thing, really. I want to move on to our third question. So recently in the news, a girl came out saying, "Oh, I don't like the book that we're studying in school because it contains racist slurs like the N-word." And this has been an ongoing topic for many, many years. We can't get away from this topic. And the particular book that they were talking about is Of Mice and Men. So my question to you guys is, do you think books that contain racist and derogatory language, do you think those type of books should be taught in schools?
I personally think, I feel like if we're talking about Of Mice and Men, like it's been in the curriculum for a long time, and I think we should be able to find books that don't contain like slurs and stuff, just because it makes people very uncomfortable. Obviously, if you're in the classroom, especially as like maybe one of the only black people, and people are using the N-word, then it'll make you very uncomfortable. And I just feel like we can find other books that have value without needing to use racial slurs.
Yeah, fair enough. And I think picking up on what Victoria said, these books of Mice and Men, The Lord of the Flies, Rolling Thunder, there's To Kill a Mockingbird. These books have been around for ages. My mum read these books, and my mum studied these books, and yeah, I think I mean there definitely are books that can still instill those values that we need to be taught. And like you said, I think also with regards to making people feel uncomfortable, I don't think it's just black people that feel uncomfortable, because I know in my school I had a situation where a sub teacher said the word, and people in my class, they felt uncomfortable. I wasn't in that class. They felt uncomfortable to hear this word being said in their class, and they asked the teacher, "Oh, can we not use the word?" And he said, "Well, no, it's in the book, so I'm going to say it." But not all teachers are like that. We have amazing teachers who are cautious of the people that are in their environment. So I guess my next question is, do you think the education system, well, we kind of already touched on this, but do you think we should still be taught topics with, let's say, themes that kind of deal with racism and deal with slavery? Do you think those topics should still be taught in schools?
it should be taught in schools, but they shouldn't show it in like a very violent way to the point where people are like, oh my goodness, like this, it shouldn't be scary for them to watch because it's history, right? So it should be like a learning process for them to want to learn more, not to be scared and be like, I'm never wanting to like see or do this again. Because it even happened in my religion class. My teacher, we just came in one day and he was like, okay, I'm going to show you this video. And it was a very, very like gory video of just how like black people were treated back then. And even like, not just myself, like everyone else was uncomfortable because like one scene came on and I was like, you couldn't have showed this. Like you could have showed something a little, not like more friendly, but something that will not want to, something that won't take our interest away, because obviously if you see something you don't like, you won't be interested in it no more. Yeah, exactly. So I think it definitely should be taught because it'll help a lot in this society if you know what has happened in the past. Just so
with regards to, you do believe that it should be taught,
Yeah.
and what does that do? Learning history, what does that now do for our future? What do you think are the benefits of us looking at content that has racist themes, or looking at slavery? What do you think that would do for society?
to be fair, like it'll make our society more educated on racism, because people can just go out and say things or do things and they may not know it's actually racist. So I feel like if they have a better understanding of it, they'll be more careful with their words and their actions and how they act towards certain people of different races.
Yeah, fair enough. Thank you, Shalomite. What about you guys on this side? Do you think themes like racism, slavery should be taught in schools?
I feel like they should be taught in schools. I feel like certain things like should be shown, because there's a lot of points that you have to get across in the school, like in schools, like certain things that might be shown, that like points have to get across about it. Like not all the time you can show all the happy things about like this certain topic. There's things that you have to show that might not be so pleasant, but at the end of the day you have to get the point across to those people who don't understand it.
So I think we've all kind of agreed that we believe these topics should be taught in school. So I guess the next question is, how should teachers approach teaching topics like this in school? And I guess we can even kind of go away from racism and just look at discrimination in general. How do you think it should be handled in schools? Do you think teachers should take a specific approach to it? Any practical examples of how it can be taught in a way that's inclusive for everyone and doesn't cause offense to anyone in the classroom?
Well, my teacher, this example, my teacher, we were learning about mice and men, and she took like a session, like a whole hour, to talk about the book and the themes of the book. And she was saying how obviously there's going to be racist language in the book. She gave us a extract from Malcolm X, what he wrote, talking about basically the N-word and talking about black people, and saying how teaching on how the N-word is not acceptable and how it came from slavery and stuff. So basically she gave us a whole lesson how we should not be using the word, and also talking about the themes of sexism and stuff, because there were other themes in the book as well. So she taught on all the themes, all the negative themes, and talks about how obviously we should not be using any of the terms, not taking on any of the language that they use. So it was a really good lesson just to let everyone know that this is not okay. Just because it's in the book doesn't mean we should say it, doesn't mean we should use it, and stuff like that.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much, Victoria. Sarah, do you have anything to contribute?
I feel like when we're reading these books and in class when they're showing us videos and certain type of things, I feel like they should, instead of just for example, with Mice and Men, I feel like instead of them just reading that book and reading a chapter and then let's move on to the next thing, they should go into depth with it more, and especially showing us things online or videos of certain type of movies or this, that, and the other. They should go into depth with the actual topic instead of just, 15 minutes on this and we'll move on to the next topic or we'll move on to the next thing. They should go into depth and actually educate those people who don't understand, because so many people are uneducated and they be saying the wrong things, and it's not even they don't mean it. They're not learnt it. They don't understand. They're not educated on these certain things that they should be educated on.
Yeah. And I think some people would disagree with you, unfortunately, and say, oh, we don't have time in the curriculum to do that. I know for myself, I kind of feel like teachers would even for example, with one of my classes, we went over a topic really quickly and I didn't understand it. But because we didn't have enough time to cover the whole topic in general, we just glossed over it. But I do think it's so important to definitely go into depth into what we're being taught about and understand why we're being taught it in the first place. Yeah, we're talking about racism, but yeah, we're talking about racism. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's the point? What are we learning? We're learning from our past, and we're learning how to move forward in our society. Thank you so much, Sarah. Any other practical ways? Anything else that we think teachers can do to make it a more inclusive and more friendly environment to talk about these topics?
I think teachers themselves should be educated on like racial slurs, so they can then teach it to other people. Because, like, for example, as all you guys said about teachers reading out the word, I think they should be educated and know what the word means. If you know, not the word itself, but
the feelings that it can bring to a person.
Yeah, and just like not the whole black issue, but just know, they just need to know, like,
there's certain things. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So I understand where you're coming from, because there's, like, see, even my friends or even me, like, I've heard some stories from my friends. It's like where teachers are saying things, but they don't really clock until, like, a person comes and addresses them about the situation. Like, they're saying things that they don't understand can affect someone or make some, like, a person of, like, do you know what I mean? Feel some type of way. They don't understand that. And not all the time people have the confidence to come and talk to a head of year or a teacher about that topic or that situation. So they keep it to themselves, and the teachers continue to do these things and don't know. That's why I feel like they should be coming into, if they want to be a teacher, this teaching society or whatever, to be educated on especially a topic that is so important in society. Do you know what I mean?
I think what we're saying is that it should go beyond, we're talking about books, so kind of English, it should go beyond English and kind of just go to kind of like the core of teaching values, how to address certain issues. If someone has said something to you that you don't feel comfortable about that situation, you should be able to go to a teacher and say, hey miss, hey sir, I didn't like the way that so-and-so treated me. And because of the training that the teacher has, they should be able to go, all right, okay, so this people doesn't feel happy about this situation. Okay, I need to speak to the student, educate them and let them know what they did was wrong, let them apologize and let them have a punishment. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then the teachers can't educate that child if they're not educated themselves. Like, they need to go and have a training or something so that they can talk to a child and let them know. Like, they can't be just saying anything, because what they're saying, it can't just be surface level. Like, they need to know what they're saying, they need to understand what they're saying, and like what they're trying to teach another child about racism, for example. So they need to go and study themselves or like have a course.
Yeah, go for it.
See, in my opinion, I feel like at the same time, young kids, if they're not educated in school, like, for example, at home, like, you're never born racist. No one is born racist. In my opinion, no one is born racist. At home, their parents might not be educated. I'm not saying that their parents are racist. I'm just saying that they might not be to the level of educated that certain other people are. So I feel like in school, if they're not being educated, what other way are those kids going to be educated? Because when they're growing up, they're going to be saying certain things and thinking that it's okay. And when people say, no, you can't say that, they're going to be like, but no one's told me that before. No one said that I haven't been able to say that. Until they're getting older and older and they're coming into more diverse societies, they're not going to understand that or know that.
Also, to add to Sarah's point, like, whenever teachers are like teaching their pupils about racism, they just shouldn't teach like racism if there's like a black kid in the class. They should teach it they should teach it no matter
regardless. Like that's what I'm saying. It should be instilled into kind of like the core training of a teacher. There are certain topics that a teacher needs to be well versed on. They need to know how to deal with certain situations. I think your point was spot on, Zara. We're in school. I mean, from the ages of 5 to 16 compulsory, we are in school. We spend the majority of our time there. And yes, we have influences from home, but also school. I mean, that's where we learn everything. Do you know what I mean? So if, as you said, if school are not teaching us these things, unfortunately, the world will just deal with us in our harsh way when we're older if we're not taught at that young age. Amazing. Thank you guys so much. anything else that anybody wants to add or contribute?
Yeah. I feel like whenever teachers are gonna like explain about this, first they should, if they want to start a lesson that has to do with that, they should first really make obvious the fact that everyone has to be respectful about what is gonna be said or what, on the book or the video or whatever. And they need to make sure, because there's some people that they don't, they try to be cool, you know, they try to be like, let me just say this because I think it's funny and everyone's gonna laugh, but then it makes someone else not feel good. So I also think it should be like, maybe there should be like an assembly for like the whole year, not just like older people, but like also young, because some young people still say it, but it doesn't have to be like really serious for the younger ones because they might not really understand still. So for the older ones, obviously you need to really show them that like they need to respect and learn about how racism works or how it shouldn't be.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think obviously Black History Month was in October, and we had a Black member of staff join our school, and he said to me, "Oh, Gloria, anything happening for Black History Month?" And I'm like, "Yeah, nah, I've asked 2 years in a row, nothing's really progressed with that." And I had mentioned, "Oh, I know somebody who does workshops. Can we bring them in?" Kind of going into your assembly hall idea. No response. And for me, it was quite disappointing. This was a teacher that I had a really good relationship with, and I really felt that, this teacher could bring forward my opinion and this particular topic, because I felt, I have little sisters, and I felt like they were getting the way that they were treated. I didn't really like that, and I thought if someone came in an assembly or a workshop had been done, that would definitely change their experience in school.
No, I think your point about assemblies is really important, but also like sometimes they do assemblies. They'll be like, oh, it's diversity month, oh, it's diversity assembly, but their assemblies they're not impactful at all. Like they'll be like, oh, they'll try to tell you about other cultures, but you can't teach about a culture that well if it's not your own. So like you were saying, they need to bring in people from the cultures who can actually explain to you in depth and like actually make a meaning out of it, because they might show you videos and stuff it's nothing to do with your like, it is to do with the culture, but there's no meaning behind it. Like you won't understand, you might like laugh at it because it's not like what you usually see, so you just laugh at it, you think it's funny. Like you see people, but their culture is not portrayed in the best way, and so you definitely need to bring in people of the culture, of different cultures, and get people to explain themselves instead of trying to do it your own way, because it just does not work.
Let me ask you a question, Victoria. If you had the opportunity to talk about your heritage and to go in depth in who you are, do you think that would change the way that people speak to you? Would that change the way that, change those silly comments that boys would say if you had the opportunity?
I don't think so. Honestly, like if I was to, I don't think so.
I mean,
Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead.
If you did explain like your like you said, your
heritage,
yeah, at least they'll have an understanding about it, even though they don't stop.
Yeah, definitely. I think okay. I think some people would like maybe admire it. Some people wouldn't make comments, but there's still gonna always be those people that are just not gonna care. They're gonna laugh anyway. So it's not. I mean, it will definitely educate people, but it doesn't mean that it will stop like racism or racist comments from like people that are already racist and they can't. But I think bringing in workshops can educate people and maybe stop people from becoming racist. I think it'll be difficult maybe to change people's mindsets. I don't know, this is just an opinion, but I think it could definitely stop people from becoming racist. But maybe the people that are already racist, I don't know, maybe something more needs to be done to help them, because I don't know, but like, yeah, I think it could definitely stop some people from becoming racist.
That's interesting. And I know we're focusing on schools, but in general, how do you feel about going out with your friends? And we kind of already touched on this, but going out with your friends, do you feel like you have to act a certain way? Do you think you kind of have to pull back in who you are because of the perceptions of other people? And has that affected you? And maybe that's changed your plans. Maybe you wanted to go here one day, but maybe you're thinking, if I act a certain way, then something else do you get what I'm saying?
I feel like with me myself, like I'm like a confident person with my personality. Like, see places I go, I don't really care what people have to say or what people have to think or what way I act, but there can be at times if I go to certain places and I do feel uncomfortable, it's going to put me off and be like, do I really want to go there and be around that type of environment where I feel uncomfortable? But most of the times when I'm out in public, I do feel confident to do my own thing and be who I am and act myself, you know?
And I think that's so amazing that you feel confident in who you are as a person. And as I said before, we definitely shouldn't let the opinions of other people affect us and affect the way that we are, you know, and especially our heritage, who we are. Like, no one should ever make you feel sorry for the color of your skin, the way that you act. Thank you so much, guys. This has been a really, really great discussion. Thank you so much for all your contributions. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching our episode today. Look out for more episodes on Bradbury Hub TV on YouTube and follow us on Instagram on Bradbury Hub. Thank you so much, guys. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.